Prologue, The Secret Archives. Munich, Germany, November 12, 1965. The old warehouse smelled of dust and decaying paper. Professor Heinrich Vogel adjusted his glasses as he carefully opened the rusted lockbox marked Geheim nur für Führungsebene, secret for leadership only. Inside lay a collection of yellowed letters, personal diaries, and, most shockingly, the unpublished memoirs of a man who had served as Adolf Hitler's personal secretary from 1933 to 1942. As Vogel began reading, his hands trembled. These weren't the rantings of the monster history remembered, but the conflicted musings of a man who believed he was saving Germany. Chapter 1. The Artist, 1905 to 1914. 18-year-old Adolf sat on a park bench in Vienna, sketching the magnificent St. Stephen's Cathedral. His art portfolio lay beside him, his third rejection from the Academy of Fine Arts that month. "Your architectural drawings show promise," Professor Ferdinand Laufberger had told him that morning, "but your figures lack life. Perhaps commercial art, ... Adolf crumpled the rejection letter. Across the street, his only friend, Jewish art dealer Samuel Morgenstern, waved him over. "Adolf! I sold another of your postcards today. The tourists love your buildings." For a brief moment, history hung in the balance. What if that second art school application had been accepted? What if Morgenstern had been able to secure him steady illustration work? Chapter 2. The Soldier, 1914 to 1918. The trenches of the Western Front were hell. Corporal Hitler, a message runner for the 16th Bavarian Reserve Regiment, crawled through mud as artillery shells exploded around him. "Hitler! The message must get through," his commanding officer shouted. He delivered it, saving his unit from being flanked. For this he received the Iron Cross, First Class, an unusual honor for an enlisted man. That night in the bunker, he wrote in his diary, "Germany is being bled dry by traitors at home. When we return, we must cleanse our nation of this poison." The seeds of future horrors were being planted in the fertile soil of a soldier's bitterness. Chapter 3. The Politician, 1919 to 1933. The beer hall was packed with angry veterans and unemployed workers. Hitler stood on a chair, his voice rising above the din. "They call us the November criminals. They take our land, our money, our dignity." A young Joseph Goebbels watched from the crowd, mesmerized. "He speaks what we all feel," he whispered to his companion. But in private moments, Hitler still sketched. Vogel found a curious diary entry from 1932. "Sometimes I miss my brushes more than words can say. But Germany needs a warrior now, not an artist." Chapter 4. The Chancellor, 1933 to 1939. The crowd at the Nuremberg rally stretched as far as the eye could see. Torches lit the night as thousands chanted, "Sieg Heil!" Backstage, Hitler adjusted his uniform. "Herr Chancellor," an aide said, "the microphones are ready." But Vogel discovered another moment from that night, witnessed only by his valet. Hitler staring at a watercolor of old Vienna, painted years before. "All this," he murmured, touching the painting, "might have been so different." Then the moment passed. He strode to the podium, the crowd's roar swallowing whatever doubts might have lingered. Chapter 5. The Monster, 1939 to 1945. The Führer Bunker, April 1945. Berlin was burning. Hitler stared at the map table where his generals had once planned the conquest of Europe. Now it showed only collapsing front lines. "Mein Führer," a young officer said, "we have the gasoline you requested for." Hitler waved him away. Alone, he took out a sketch pad. With shaking hands, he began to draw. Not plans for fortifications or weapons, but a quiet street scene from his youth in Austria. Outside, the Russian artillery drew closer. Epilogue. The Historian's Dilemma. Professor Vogel closed the last file. The documents would have to be authenticated, of course, but if genuine, his assistant looked up from reading one of the diaries. "Professor, this changes everything, doesn't it? He wasn't just a monster. He was a man," Vogel finished quietly. And perhaps that's the most terrifying thing of all. He locked the archive, knowing the storm these papers would cause. For in showing Hitler's human moments, did one risk softening history's judgment on his inhuman crimes? The winter wind howled outside as Vogel made his decision. Some truths, perhaps, were too dangerous to reveal.